call it 6.5, 7. 7. 7's a good set.
A
Yeah.
good 7. All right, that's
Yeah.
fair. Would you still consider that 7 to be number 1 seed in this BTS Pro Series? I'm going to try to make a look at the standings here for everybody. But, the other teams in this run include Thunder Predator, Business Associates, Crazy, Quincy Crew, formerly Chaos, Beast Coast Furia, and then Cloud9. Would you still put EG as top seed for this?
Let's say top two. I think Quincy Crew is like probably the team to beat. They have their full roster. They've been around for a while, and I think they have a good grasp of this meta right now. So yeah, but EG still top seed, right? So it's just between both of them, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. But we've definitely been seeing some fun things through this league, and the ESL league also had some interesting matches. I don't know if the lockdown is getting to everybody, but they are. I know I've heard from teams like Secret, they're like treating this as like high level scrims almost. So you do see a little bit of the nerd sweat, and then you see a little bit of experimentation. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, I know we, for example, saw Evil Geniuses go against Thunder Predator, and they pulled out like mid lane bounty hunter, and which is interesting. It was fun to theory craft, and I could see a lot of the potential there, but obviously did not pan out. So EG are getting tested certainly by a bunch of different crazy lineups. Do you agree with that? Do you think this is a good time to kind of experiment and build up chemistry? How should teams be approaching these type of leagues?
I mean, it varies from team to team and depending on how many stand-ins you want to use and who the stand-ins are. So EG essentially is kind of using like 1.5 standing rather than like two full stand-ins because of the coach that understands like this team for the past like 5 years or so. He's been with them. But Ryoya, like he's the one that's like the most inexperienced, and he's gaining an immense amount of experience. Playing with EG, how these teams communicate, how they draft, and how they function essentially as a team, like in every part of the game. From early game, mid game, and what kind of communication they have. And after this venture with EG, he should take this experience and hopefully teach it and help his new team, whatever he may be doing in Dota after that. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we already have a draft kind of well underway here. Why don't we go ahead and dive into it? Not surprised to see some of these first bands come out. Coddle has quickly become like platinum tier 5 support, so he's been seeing the ban pretty nonstop throughout most of these games and the games over at ESL2. So Death Prophet, Coddle, Centaur, obviously a huge priority in the offlane. So do you think this is like a common trend right now? People are going one support and then maybe like an offlane core as their 1-2 punch into the draft.
I mean, the way that EG usually likes to draft, I mean, they opened up with Chen, I believe, and the good response is Marana. And when EG usually like, because I'm very like focused with EG centric right now because of I understand how they draft, is they like to have like a support duo, such as like a support wombo combo kind of deal, right? So
Okay.
they want to pair like a Marana with like a Shadow Demon, or in this case, a Winter Wyvern, something that can set them up. So when they have like this roaming potential early game to like mid game, that these two supports will do a lot of damage and a lot of like control in these team fights. And it's kind of interesting that Furia ends up picking a Phoenix here because it's like they have a Marana already,
Yeah.
which is like even though if it's just a support, like when you just max out your leap and you have an egg killer already, so they kind of counterpick themselves unless well they have good synergy now and having this Mars to protect the egg, so you can't really leap over it.
Exactly. I was going to say, at least they get something to help out with the egg. Because I would agree, Marana definitely adds a bit of pepper to taking down the egg a bit faster. But Furia do recognize they need some sort of defense to have for the egg. And Mars is probably one of the best out there and available. He's been seeing a lot of gameplay as of recent. Before that, we saw the Dragon Knight picked up. It's been pretty, I would imagine, Ryoyo's most popular pickup since he's been playing on EG. And we were talking about it a bit yesterday with Jenkins. I'm curious to have your input. Dragon Knight, would you say he is a boring hero? I don't know if you know where I'm going with this as far as boring. I put the analogy that if this was like basketball, Dragon Knight's the guy who does the clean bounce pass and a good bank shot. He's not dribbling between the legs or anything like that. He's just kind of getting the job done.
I'll say in the aspect of he as a pub hero, he's pretty boring, but in a team aspect, it's fun because you can build a lot of momentum because he's a type of hero that you really need a good team to play around and understanding this hero and like his timings, right? When
Yeah.
his ulti's up, his first ult, having this dual support rotation, pressuring this tier one, and then it's how he uses his second, third ult, and how it just progresses throughout the game. And you really need a team because he's not a hero where if like in a pub aspect, you're just kind of playing and you're hitting this tower and you're just gonna die with three other heroes because your team is like they don't understand how this hero
Yeah.
functions. So,
So it sounds
okay,
like he's just
Timber's
not a good pub pick at all, really. If you're banking on your team to really help you out, I don't know how the atmosphere has been as of recent, certainly in the NA pub scene, but if you're banking on your team, yeah, I guess you have to hope they have your back if you're playing something like Dragon Knight.
and they're also able to pick him as early as it is because Timber was out and they banned Monkey, so they really protected like this. They had 15th pick, right? Yeah, 15th pick Dragon Knight. It was a blind pick, so that's why they felt really comfortable putting him there.
Yeah.
Now they have Bristle, who's as open as a 1 or 3, but most likely I feel it's going to be a Bulba hero.
It was interesting they even gave the nod to ban the Tusk because I know you were given the impression this could be like a support Mirana, a floating Mirana, but they really want to make sure that Tusk is not involved. We've been acknowledging a lot how Tag Team has just been ridiculous as a spell for Tusk and how it just does so much work, especially to these beefy offlaners that are certainly in the meta. I don't know if you feel the same, but it seems like Tusk is certainly a really big pickup.
Mm, I mean, I think it's okay, but I feel like they need a hero that's gonna like kind of win them the game. Like they need some Arteezy hero. I don't. I mean, he can play Terrorblade or not Terrorblade, Bristleback, but the probability is very low. It's more like a Bulba hero.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Arteezy would play. I don't know. He could play like AM, Ursa. I think it's not that good of a Naga game.
I guess well, I mean, those are two very common picks for sure. They kind of seem to portray very different play styles. With the AM, obviously needing more of that time and nourishment, and the way that Ortiz has been playing Ursa, it seems that it's been much more proactive and kind of fighting heavy. I would lean towards the side with Evil Geniuses and what they've already drafted here. This is maybe let's fight, let's take objectives, let's move forward. So would he lean towards the side of something like a Ursa over an AM? I'd imagine.
I think, yeah. I mean, Ursa fits a lot better because of just like the laning, because there's a melee laner. But I just mentioned kind of AM in there because he lanes pretty well versus this. I guess Abaddon support, huh? Mars is the core.
Oh, that's true.
There.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
That
This is actually really. Wait, no, Mars is mid then. Mars is gonna go mid against DK. Abaddon, Phoenix off lane, Chen safe lane, and they need a win condition hero.
Oh.
Yeah,
I wonder
that's
if
what they
there's room at all to flip things around on the EG side of things. I don't suppose
like
off lane Dragon Knight has. I mean, even just yesterday, I think Snake King played it. I don't know if that's something EG want to.
I mean, Mars isn't that great versus DK because the second spell is physical, so it's just his spears that kind of is a little bit annoying. Essentially, both of these heroes just kind of farm. It's like a 50-50 matchup, honestly. Because Mars has two spells that can farm creeps, and DK also has spells that can just farm creeps.
Yeah, the laning setup seems just really interesting for Fury. The Abaddon, I'm curious, what his place is. It's great to have the shield to remove the arrow and to
It's a pretty good start game actually for FURIA.
Oh.
2 melee.
Yeah, absolutely, and it helps to have people who could naturally deal with the bristleback and how they like to build up and progress.
They have the problem with Furia's lineup right now, though, is as much if they ball up and EG fights into their ball, they might have some issues because of the amount of heals that they have and the amplification that Chen offers.
That's true.
But the problem is, EG can have this split push. Oh, Razor was a good pick too. EG can kind of like split push and like take fights slow because of the amount of stuns and control that they do have in the fights. And all they really have is this Mars. If Mars misses his ulti, then they like Phoenix is gonna throw his egg, and all EG has to do is just really run or kite around the egg. So it's really up to this Mars to like have this early blink dagger to have this ability to catch.
Yeah, he's got to farm up real well in the laning phase and build up that kind of momentum. The whole lineup now feels a bit faster, rounding it out with something like the Razor. And Razor has been suspect to being a very feast or famine kind of hero. It feels like if he's not really building up a lot of momentum, he ends up being kind of an awkward large mega creep in a sense. But you're right, when he's picked out, he's got great options between Bristle and DK to work with. Oh, goodness, that is a hero I've not seen in quite a while, Mr. Bone Fletcher over here. I mean, sure, he can definitely handle things like the egg with more ease, but DeMoN, fill me in here. Why the Clinks? Why here? Why now?
They definitely needed a range. They didn't want another melee hero for this Razor to be like enabled even more.
For sure.
And, yeah, I mean, they just probably want another egg killer, to be honest, because Winter Wyvern and Mirana are like support natural egg killers already, and having a third one is just like it's good. It's pretty good. And they don't really have catch for this Clinks, to be honest. It's like he's gonna invis and they're gonna throw a dust, and if all he has to do is avoid this Mars, and if
Yeah.
he's not in like playing field of the Mars, then this Clinks has a pretty free game. You know, this Razor might be able to chain link him. He'll just run away with his like wind walk, and he's at the end of the day he'll still have a lot of damage because he'll just throw his ulti down, and you know these heroes that they don't have a lot of right click from FURIA, to be honest. Like the only real right click is this Razor, and like there's a lot of pressure on this Razor to have a good game.
Exactly.
If he doesn't have a good game, their win condition is like pretty awkward.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of pressure on Furia to really perform in the laning phase and then not let that momentum waver one bit. But I don't know how that's going to be. It's not easy to kind of crack the shell of Evil Geniuses. I mean, already you have DK mid lane. He's tough enough to bring down. Bristleback is tough in his own right. Mirana's leaping. She's elusive. Wyvern's there to provide the the bailout with the cold embrace or whatever to kind of get away, and he can even fly. And then Clinks is hard. This is gonna be tough for Furia. I feel.
I really would have loved a hero that would have been able to build Silver Edge for sure. They needed a break because they have two heroes that really rely on their passive to like, keep their sustain. DK and Bristleback, and this Razor, like I said, he has because at least Slark has like a TP cancellation. Again with Furia, like this Razor has pressure because he's not a disabler either, and they don't have much catch. So I feel like he's also forced to rush this Yules as well. And they're actually going Abaddon carry and putting the Razor mid against the DK.
RDO going to take the Abbott to the top lane, and he'll be accompanied by Chen, like you were talking about. Yeah, Murdoch picking up the Razor definitely says that it's going to be going in the mid lane. Murdoch has a pretty good repertoire playing a lot of the meta heroes. I remember a recent Death Prop performance being pretty damn good. And as we all know, of course, these South American teams are playing with that little bit of a lag buffer, but that has not stopped them from really stepping up in a lot of these games. Yesterday, a clinic was put on by Thunder Predator, I believe, against Cloud9, and even Beast Coast was giving a run. Evil Geniuses a run for their money, even though I've heard from the manager and owner that they are definitely dealing with a serious lag situation. But you know what, DeMoN, I guess we ought to be happy there is still Dota in these times that we can at least try to enjoy and play in, and could be a lot worse, I guess.
That's true, Dakota. And there's one thing I always like look at. I mean, Crit's one of my probably favorite players of EG right now, just because of like I really enjoy how he moves and how he plays the map. Usually when he plays this Mirana, like what he really likes to do is like in the lane, he'll just arrow all these range creeps and take some of these creeps, but give this Bristleback all the solo XP to give him a fast 3. And because of that, like he's going to be out leveling their carry and their support, and he'll be self-sustainable, and then he'll have all this freedom on Mirana to do whatever he wants, whether he can go aggro in the safe lane or just roam around mid.
Yeah,
so
it definitely seems to be one of two type of profiles here for the off lane. Either you got that real hard duel setup where you need that support babysitter to be there, or if you can get someone to self-sustain, give him a strong start like you're talking about here with the Bristle. Crit now has the freedom with his hero to move around and cause problems elsewhere. And Crit is beautiful at doing that. This is a guy who has a fantastic Earth Spirit under his belt.
So you can see he's airing the creep right now.
But beautiful block from Chen, yeah. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but he stepped in the way and blocked it down. But
yeah, you see the idea behind it, right? It's the little details that really make this make teams a tier 1. It's like giving all the solo. He tried to give the solo XP to the Bristleback, but obviously Chen did block it.
But Bristle's able to grab a creep wave himself, and he'll take it the long road all the way back and around. How do you feel about this as being part of the game? I know it's part of the game, but is it frustrating at all when you see offlaners able to kind of do these kind of shenanigans? As I say that, Fly able to score their first blood, it would appear. Bottom lane taking down Sexy Fat. The Mars, who we want to really step up this game. Bobo even got a courier in that top lane wave pool. I don't know how they didn't see he was over there causing this ruckus, but all right then.
I mean, it really simplifies things because Chen is a very natural, strong laner because of the headdress and the divine favor heal amplification. And you're going to be throwing all these cool sprays, and it really nullifies the effect of what Bristleback essentially wants to do. So right now he's going to maximize in getting full XP in this and getting probably a fast 4.5, almost when he's close to 5 or level 5, he's going to come back to the lane and he's going to actually be able to pressure their carry. And at the same time, you know, Mirana is going to be able to maximize his XP by like arrowing all these like big neutral creeps as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And you feel like this. You watch this Chen, it's like he feels really like I'm not gonna say clueless, but it's like he feels really bad. Like he's like, I'm just watching this Bristle take all these free creeps here, and he can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
and it just feels really bad as a position 5.
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, Artio is farming the top lane, but it's not easy. He's typically working with the creeps under the tower. Now he's trying to pull them back to the side camp, and he'll make the most of it. But yeah, it feels like EG are certainly getting their worth out of that top lane as it stands right now. But bottom is just as frisky here as we saw that first blood go down. Fly is using that Arctic burn when possible to burn the Firebird on the other side of the lane. And then I guss Arteezy is able to just kind of chirp in some good damage as the Clinks. So.
And Ryoyo was doing pretty well mid. I mean, he rushed his boots of speed. You know, he was aware that I don't know if he started with boots exactly. It looked like he just went some branches, berry fire, then rushed the boots.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he's doing really well in his lane. 14-1 to 12-2 in the CS charts, and he's kind of free farming his lane in this counter matchup that FURIA did have. So.
True. Bulba making things a bit more spicy by fuming the Chen a bit, knowing that it's having a bit of a frustrated time. Bulba's now able to interject a bit in the side camp and take it to them. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Arctic Burn out from Fly, forcing Sexy Fat to the side right now. Sexy Fat is sporting that early buckler pickup, which can help mitigate a bit of the damage, but they are dishing out the pressure on the side of EG. Comparatively, all right, look at this. We have a game. We'll get back into it now. And where do we leave off? Crit roaming to that mid lane to see if he can get a setup on that.
He's going to get some wards out, maybe throw an arrow. Yeah, he's going to farm this. He's going to secure 4-minute rune and kind of, depending on where it is, we'll see where he's going to be able to pressure.
Yeah, that's a 4 position. Mirana has a good scope of the game as a whole, whereas I would probably just be looking to Robin Hood some arrows to each lane here. It's good to kind of know where the pacing of the lanes is going to be so that when the 5-minute mark hits, you have a good spot for the bounties. Arrow out onto the Phoenix. Beautiful shot by Crit. Catches the bird right in the butt. Can they burst the Phoenix down? Yes, they can. Beautiful shot and setup right there from Crit.
That was kind of weird. Like, Fly and Artur were like a little reluctant just to kill him there. Fly could have just.
They didn't believe it. They didn't believe him, and they didn't believe the arrow. Or Crit maybe didn't mention anything. He's just casually, silently going over there and landing arrows. But you're right. It took him a bit to realize what was going on.
Yeah. So Razor did have a good ward here. He should. Yeah. They ping the ward, so he knows that they have a ward here now. Phoenix is being wise here, so he's deciding to run back in lane rather than just TPing to make sure, like, to stop this Mirana. Like, here it is mid.
Nice arrow again from Crit. But the Star Storm, it is more than beautiful. Man, Crit already putting on a good little show with this roaming Mirana. This has got to be a problem for FURIA. And as you mentioned, Phoenix will be there to at least grab up the bounty rune. Crit was hoping to take that one himself. But, you know, if Phoenix now has to step away from the lane and deal with Mirana problems, that leaves Mars all by him lonesome to deal with that bottom lane, which I'm sure is not easy.
I mean, it's these little things that I love and appreciate about what Crit does. Like, if you saw that he had a ward up there, right? He knew exactly that Phoenix was there, and he took the bounty rune. But Crit played it off as like, hey, I'm going to run up here and pretend that I don't have a ward, and I don't want to make it obvious. But in reality, they already did have an obs, and he just wanted to make it look like I have no vision up here. And it's just like this little details that he really does as a position 4 that changes.
Those are extra special support details as well that most people don't even look at because, you know, they're busy looking at the big
You don't want to make your wards obvious. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Like taking it to the level to not even show it in your inventory at all. Mm-hmm. Very, very smart stuff. And the advantage is you're going to maintain a lot of wonderful vision through that bottom lane, and you can go for some continued setups here. Looks like Chen is taking a long trip down south here, Demon, and he wants to join the action, but it's mid lane where things are going down. Thanks for the heads up as we catch the very back end of Murdoch going down. It's Crit yet again on the action, but we got to jump back bottom lane because we have Sexy Fat under the gun. Arteezy's thinking about walking him out front, but they should see Dusters here now. And oh, Courier though, if he wants to go for it. But the dive in from Phoenix, they're thinking they have the numbers advantage and they want to make the approach for Fly. They're successful on that. They'll get their first kill on the board. And now comes Crit to join Arteezy's side. He's got the haste rune. Is he looking for a Starstorm? He's baiting him back. He's baiting him around. He's leaping away. He says, never mind, I'm good. Runs out the other side. All right, a little awkward there, but whatever the case may be, it's just a Fly going down.
It's a nice Ogre Frost Mage right there. His armor really nullified all of Artur's damage there.
Oh, you're right. Dang, the value ice armor. Arrow, this one will miss. But Crit letting him know that he's still hanging around the corner, and FURIA now going to be sporting this full kind of tri-lane setup. Meanwhile, we're back at mid lane. Fly getting leashed up. Ryoya steps in with that dragon form.
Duster dying here at bottom.
But, oh goodness, Duster in trouble in the river. One more right click. There it is. Crit now on a killing spree. And I want to ask before more action breaks out, you know, with the way the net worth swing now works, is that almost a concern to be building up too much of a bounty as a 4 position this early into the game? You know what I mean? It feels like when you have like a 3 kill streak, you're already handing over like so much extra gold if you do get picked off.
It's about the gold and about the EXP as well. I think EXP, and when it comes to early game, it's partially gold, but I think it's more about the EXP because like level 6s is what really changes the games on supports in these cores. You know, Mars being able to set up with this arena and egg as well from Phoenix. Chen is dying again.
Yeah, he's eating a lot of damage. Good Starstorm. He does step off a bit. Oh, Spear finds his connection onto Crit, and they're able to burst him down with help of the Bulwark there. Nice job from Sexy Fat to line that one up, and now he's trying to bodyguard his team a bit. Moonwalking back, and they'll be safe.
Yeah. At the same time, you know, as much chaos that's being created towards bottom lane, you know, DK takes the tier 1 in mid, and Bulba just finishes his Vanguard now at 8 minutes with the Soul Ring, so they're going to be able to pressure another lane soon because of it.
Yeah, Bulba and Abaddon are both neck and neck for top creep score in this game at 71 apiece, which is quite crazy. They have been living in paradise up north, just farming away gladly.
He'll be kicked out of the lane right now. Abaddon, you know, DK's making a rotation here.
Yep. I'm also catching ward action here at the bottom, a fight between the Phoenix and the Mirana over the ward spot, but we go back top, and let's see if they can get the catch onto RDO. He's pretty swift with those phase boots.
He just feels like he can't do anything, so he's just, I don't know what he's planning to do. His tower's just free for them. Chen showed himself TPing bottom as well.
Yeah, so without reinforcements to come, he kind of has to hand this one over. He's got eyes on a Radiance. It might take a while to get there, but they feel that that's going to be the best item to pick up here on this Abaddon to really juice up the DPS for the future fights.
Well, the past 3 minutes, FURIA was really trying to pressure this Clinks aside from, like, you know, hurting his levels, because it was like a 3v3. Oh, bottom lane.
Yeah, they made a jump on the fly with the arena with the spear. He was flying, so he didn't get locked within the arena, but as you can see, they were able to chase him down and finish him off. You know, pretty hard.
They feel good. They feel good about that though, because I mean, they blew up Mars ulti for position 5 right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like a lot of a commitment, so I wasn't sure if you were saying FURIA feel good about that or EG feel good about that, but yeah, it feels like a hard commitment. If they could follow up with a tower takedown, that'd make it nicer, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be too easy. RDO has already shifted all the way down to the bottom as well, so top is a utopia for Bulba and his Bristle.
Yeah. Bulba's just free farming still. Fly's just sitting here bottom, being ready to protect this tower. His team is running behind him right now. Oh, he's like 1 creep off level 6. That's so unfortunate for his setup.
Kill that creep right in front of you, sir. You got it.
There it is.
Yep. And there are 4 FURIA members still here. Crit rolling in from behind. They quickly look to isolate Duster. Duster with the shield, but eventually does pop. There's that curse. Committed onto the Mars, but he's got the, you know, the front bit of mitigation damage to prevent any sort of extra firepower. Spear doesn't find a mark. Leap over from Crit is very nice to make it away. Now Elise Shout, a snipe of the Courier, comes in from Ryoya, but now he's losing all of that damage. The arena going to be committed. FURIA has possible time. Good bulwark, but Sexy Fact does fall RDO looking to clean up, gets the takedown onto Arteezy. Ryoyo with the double kill himself, but he falls shortly after. It's a bloodbath here in the bottom lane as we check the recap. It's a bit of a better trade for FURIA. I mean, that is, of course, because they don't have Bulba involved in any of this.
So what I call this one here is like a numbers game where EG was just outnumbered here entirely. They brought 5 people and EG brought 4 people, and because of that, just they essentially just had more numbers, and it was a 5 versus 4. I don't know why. I think Boba accidentally misclicked his TP or something because it was on cooldown. I don't know where he really TP'd to.
Yeah, you're right. I would hope he didn't just go from top to mid with that TP.
Yeah.
But you're right, it was on cooldown. I don't think the Phoenix was too involved. I didn't see the egg at least, so I don't know how involved Heiko was in any
Yeah, but
of
they
that.
use spell. The thing is, it's like the fact that you have another body there, that's another body that you have to cast spells on, and
For sure.
that enables the other cores and supports to have more freedom and roam in the fights.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, FURIA do clean out and at least take the tier 1. They press on forward. EG not looking to get involved with too much of what's going on in the bottom lane. Expecting that FURIA are likely going to take over this area, drop down a couple of wards. EG at 40.
I think they've identified this game as just letting this Wyvern dead lane and bottom lane, and they're gonna play with 4, they're gonna play with their strongest hero now, which is their Bristleback, who's been free farming for the past 12 minutes. And they want to run at both mid and top and pressure these tier 2s. And this Wyvern should be able to defend this tower on his own.
Which is a really nice feat, considering it is 1 to 3, 1 to 4 potentially. And we saw those same kind of numbers at the top lane as they get the upper hand onto Razor. It's just a full-blown mugging right there, and he just gets taken down. Struggle for the Razor as he falls behind. All 3 cores here from Evil Geniuses. Only the Abaddon kind of hanging there in terms of net worth, but here we go. Arrow, again, Crit is just on fire right now with these arrows. As they sets up another one onto the Phoenix. That's going to be the egg gone. FURIA tried to bail out, but Fly manages to catch Sexy Fat there with the curse. Holds him in his place. They move on forward to get the finish on the chin. Sexy Fat's like, how dare you, sir? I'll make you pay. Does take down Captain Fly, but it looks like it will still cost him his life. Got him. Double kill for Crit.
Look at all the wards that FURIA has on bottom, and looks pretty nice. It's triple wards. A hold Radiant jungle is just heavily warded there.
Yeah,
but in the meantime, despite all these kills that have been traded, EG does take another tier 2 on top lane. So, they are killing with objectives in comparison. FURIA is getting, every now and then they're getting a kill, but they're not really getting much objectives out of it.
Yeah, they only got that bottom tier 1, and that felt like it took 2 or 3 skirmishes to really get done. And they had to pull, as you were mentioning before, those extra numbers to finish it out. So now that they got that done, you got to see what's next. Here. But is this another arrow setup from Crit onto Razor? It looks like it. Crit killing spree. Ooh.
That was a 5-second arrow or something, a 4.5 second. That was the range on that was insane.
The damage was also buffed on Arrow. I know it was enough for S4 to kind of acknowledge, but if you do manage to level up Arrow all the way and get that full range, it's like a freaking finger flying out from the horizon. So
that's true, actually.
It's a good bit of burst damage, and Crit has been landing that pretty nicely this game. It looks like EG are going to continue to reside towards the top half of the map while FURIA smoke and go on the prowl and see if they can catch anyone out. Ryoya is nearby, already in dragon form. Let's see if they can catch him.
I want to keep running at this bottom lane because that's what they don't want to really play in their own jungle. And at the same time, I think EG might, no, they're not going to look for high. DK is TPing mid now, so they're abandoning this whole bottom area because they know this whole bottom area, it's like Fly didn't have opportunities to deward it, so it's like they don't want to play in the enemy vision. And they have to smoke there if they do want to cross the map. But instead, they'd rather pressure this tier 2 and force the enemy back. FURIA is doing something good. You see what Sexy Fat's doing is cutting the wave here.
Yep. Yeah, good heads up to hopefully slow down the roll of EG's pressure to that mid lane. I imagine they don't want to get into a race of hitting the base or hitting the towers. It seems like EG definitely have a leg up on them in that department. Here we go, though. They've made the rotation to the bottom lane. At least here's Arteezy and Crit, dishing out a couple of pot shots to that backline Phoenix. But FURIA are still holding strong on the high ground here. We do see Ryoya sweeping in from behind. Fly again will fly over the arena. And Arteezy just simply stays in skeleton walk, invisible. There's the curse. It catches onto the Chen, the Phoenix, and the arrow will help finish that off. Jump in for Sexy Fat. Nice starfall. Crit dominating now on this. And they're not done yet. Moving forward, Bulba makes his debut into the game and gets his first kill. Oh, and Fly really deep. Heiko able to get the finish onto the Wyvern. It's a small feather in the cap, but it's EG who overall takes the bigger cake.
Yeah. Artur sees the Phoenix on top. He immediately TPs on the outpost here and then try to snag up a quick kill.
Yes.
He knows his dive should be down.
Sweet rotisserie chicken. Easy money right there. Oh, that was a good read. You're right. You called it exactly. He's like, oh, I know he already used dive. He's top. I have an outpost. Why not go for it? Meanwhile, Bulba snotting up Duster. Turns his back out. They do spear him against the wall. Face out. Now zapped all of his damage. They will finish him off. And they're throwing tips his way and see if they can tilt Bulba. Look at all of them throwing nickels at Bulba. Poor
Crit's
Bulba.
throwing that anti-tilt.
And then Crit, I didn't even notice Crit's like, don't worry about it, man. Here you go. Oh, that's great. Duster in trouble. No-handed God going to save you there. But his allies now want redemption. Arrow. Oh, that arrow not going to work to their favor, unfortunately. It stops Sexy Fat from dishing out extra damage onto Murdoch. And now Arteezy in a bit of trouble. Arena comes out, but he walks right through it. But they have enough chase that they'll finish off the little bone man.
Oh, crap. He actually has RDO actually finished his Radiance, and he got a pretty nice item. He got a Vambrace as well, so it's pretty tanky.
Oh, literally could be the man on the dark horse for this game.
The game-changing item that FURIA really needs is this Blink Dagger on Mars to have like some reliable catch.
Oh, absolutely.
And on top of so their timings right now is this for FURIA to really do something. They should just kind of chill, kind of play a little closer together, not die around the map. Razor needs to finish off his Yules, which is 250 gold away, and then as Mars 700 gold away from his Blink Dagger, and they'll have their item timings. EG's roashing with 2 heroes right now. Let's see how this really works out. There's your boy Artur.
Yeah, they're going to need a little more DPS if they want to take this in a decent time. Arrow helps.
Artur gets a really lucky item too. He gets an Imp Claw on his Clink's finishing his death, so.
Wow. All right. How convenient. Oh, hello. Yeah. See you later. Phoenix, unfortunately, taking the wrong path home there. Gets jumped. And now the Abaddon arrowed up. Meanwhile, they chase down and finish off Duster rather easily. Murdoch in the midst of things gets quickly surrounded and also muscled down. This could be hemorrhaging kills right now for FURIA, but they're committed already. They drop down the arena, the bulwark, but there's the curse. And there's the last 2 FURIA members duking it out with each other. RDO, the last man standing, laughing it out, sitting in the spot saying, I'll take it all. He's a god as he quickly takes out Arteezy, but will ultimately lose his life. It turns into a full 5-man wipe for Evil Geniuses, and they'll put the cherry on top by trying to take off this Tier 2 tower. My goodness.
They play that team fight beautifully. They arrowed the Abaddon, and then DK kind of followed up with a Dragon Tail. And the thing is, they didn't hit him. They just ignored him and ran towards the rest of the team. Because they know if they fought this Abaddon, like this Abaddon can actually kill a lot of people on EG and do a lot of damage. But instead, they just focused all the weaker targets and killed them last. And even then, you know, it was a 1v5, and he was still able to kill Artur.
Yeah, and obviously, if you're not taking out these supports, they're just going to be there as like the little paramedics to just continue to heal up the Abaddon where possible. So, good heads up from EG. They recognize that. Of course, the start of that almost kind of fell into their lap. Phoenix cross-countering right in front of them means they don't even have to deal with the egg at all. And now, since they did clean their plate, they can go back for Roche and get the Aegis.
Okay, so so now they have their timings. They have Yules, they have Blink. It's going to be coming now. Abaddon's going to shove this lane. And they have Recall, and they're going to be ready for a smoke. So this is like, it's like when you finish an item, you really want to make a play with it as soon as possible. Yeah. But at the same time, now they feel awkward because they were you see how all 4 of them were grouped up and Chen had his smoke ready, and they're like, Aegis is finished. Now they feel a little awkward because it's like, do we still want to do this play?
I mean, do you think they could afford to wait out this Aegis? I feel like EG would just get to another level if they do.
they need to take a fight in their advantage under vision, which is what they're trying to bait them into doing now. Like they awarded this high ground, they see this bristleback, but at the same time they don't want to focus this guy.
No, certainly not, and not if they don't have a way to deal with the bristleback in the form of a silver edge or spear vessel or something to penetrate. So they just quickly bail out. No way to stop the TP unless you got Fly nearby. He's got the curse, and they'll take out Murdoch at least. Meanwhile, up and above, Crit was... Oh, Crit got the kill. No, Crit got the courier, sorry. I'm always confused by the kill messaging of the courier. It looks like a hero also dies, but good snipe there. Yeah, it's just not getting easy here. You know, you just feel like they obviously recognize the advantage they have, and they're not just going into some sort of idle farm mode. They are all over the place, as we see. R2 are going for a snipe. Hand to God to bail him out, but Duster loses his own life for trying to help. Now they get a hold of Arteezy. They shove him into a corner, and they finish him off. Ryoya stepping in, looking to pop the egg himself. Can't do it. The egg goes off. Now the return of Artur, and FURIA try to make a hasty retreat. The Centaur stomp, very nice to stop them in their tracks. Cold Embrace is going to be forced to bail out the Clinks. RDO pops his ult and retreats inside. The Mars not going to be as fortunate, but they continue to chase. Leaping into the high ground, the Razor's forced to step in. He's back from the dead and now has to turn and run. Oh, goodness. Too much damage. He's got to get healed, and they quickly get back inside where they feel it is safe. But Evil Geniuses just plowing their way through, using that Aegis advantage, and now are going to be doing the first bit of serious base damage into this top lane.
Yeah, they know they're able to like dive as much as they want when this Mars is dead, right? That's their only real reliable catch right now. So they're having all this freedom and being able to dive as much on top of having a 16k gold advantage as well.
Yeah. He's back now. He does not have the arena ult yet. So EG are timing it. They still got about 20 seconds to work with here if it is something they do care about and fear. As they go back to scratch at the mid lane a bit, they turn the rotation up top. We see how they can possibly make a strong approach into the high ground and try to go for some closure here. RDO being the siege engine here for FURIA, tries to fight out in the front lines, but it is not easy. He is eating lots of damage from the outside here. Now the focus is on the Sexy Fat. Oh no, he goes down, and he has no buyback, and he's not going to be able to get the arena off. Goodness, Demon, this could be the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it's a silver edge on DK as well to remove the passive from Abaddon and Mars.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty nice.
That is
I think if you use silver edge on Abaddon and if he gets silences, he doesn't get borrow time off. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure though.
Yeah, but something about the interaction with silence means he has to trigger the ult, right, for it to kick in.
Yeah, so if he hits him with silver edge and like he doesn't click on it, then he'll just die.
Which, if you're debuting a silver edge, they don't even know you have it. Like, it feels like 9 times out of 10 they get caught with it and they don't hit it in time. But here RDO tries to slip out the front door, but they're already just corralled inside. FURIA in their own form of lockdown right now, not safe to make it out. Curse from the backside holds Sexy Fat in his space to fight against Murdoch, which means he will fall. RDO swinging it out. This could be the final hurrah for FURIA here. They put all their focus onto Arteezy. Oh, they're trying to beam him down under the Moonlight Shadow. Can he make it out? It looks like he's just fine. And EG just getting back to the objectives here. And I don't know what else is left in the tank here for FURIA in game number 1.
Bulba's just running in so the rest of his team can just honestly just take all these buildings here. Can't really touch this hero. Artur's a little out of position here. He actually might die.
He's pretty frail. I mean, it's a Clinks. And there he goes. See you later, Arteezy. Let's see if the rest of his team can kind of finish the job here.
And Bulba baited him there.
They finished the egg. Phoenix still decides to buy back, knowing that this is like one of the last defenses they can muster. Bulba is just bruising things down. He takes down another in the back lines, and he'll probably get more. It's a triple kill for Bulba. Can he keep it going here? The arena comes out from Sexy Fat. He's trying to get hold of Mirana. Jump in from Ryoya, though, with a Dragon Tail, and that Mars will be finished. Ultra kill for Bulba. Oh, my God. Give this man the rampage. Give me the rampage, he says. Give it to me. He's running to the base. Give it to him. When's the next time Bulba's going to get a rampage? When's the next time he's going to get it, right? Ever? Ever in a competitive game? Let's go.
His ulti is popping off.
they call GG.
Hey,
But
what do you know? It's the combo with Ryoya and
no.
Boba again. Ryoya stole it last time.
Oh well. 33-11 to finish it out. Evil Geniuses, a commanding performance with a 23K net worth advantage to finish. DeMoN, we were talking about just after the draft concluded. We both felt strongly that EG had put themselves in a really good position to win a lot of the lanes, and that there was just too much pressure on FURIA to be able to kind of carry their own against what would be a problem in the very tanky DK and Bristleback.
I mean, yeah, what was like really interesting is like I don't know what was going on in terms of like awareness or if they're pressured by playing, EG or if it's lag or whatever, but I think there's just like certain things in the game that just really have no excuse for. Like this Razor dying twice in mid lane when he had like the first one he got arrowed by Marana and he was in complete vision. DK just ran up his hill, got stunned, and he just died. Like these mistakes just absolutely cannot happen for whatever reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things that really essentially start snowballs and what creates tilt. And tilt is a real existent thing in Dota, where you mind can't really focus on things and now you're just dying on these spots and these areas where you really essentially shouldn't have, and especially when they're in pure vision. And overall, like I think EG did play pretty well. I think they did have the better draft. So overall, like their game plan and execution was a lot easier to execute and just play the map overall much easier.
Yeah, they first picked that Marana setup, and we got to see Crit really go on a tear this game. That was one of the better Marana games I've seen from him. Many great arrows and setups and pressure on all the other lanes. Obviously, Bulba's left to kind of do what he wants in the top lane, and just a wonderful, confident start for Evil Geniuses. But I want to see FURIA bounce back from this, shake that one off, and try to get us into a Game 3. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to throw to a break. I'm going to try to fix my camera here that keeps tilting down. But when we come back, it's going to be time for game number 2 of Evil Geniuses versus FURIA.